All right. How are y'all? I hope you're well. I'm just chilling. That's what I'm doing over here. Um, I have a story for y'all. Actually, two stories because this is two stories. I got duped twice. Diggity dog. Mind you, these were during desperate times. It wasn't during like a sane thought process. It was like, oh shit, I gotta do this because like daddy gotta pay the rent. But this time wasn't because of that. It was just trying to get an extra job. But daddy got duped twice. But also daddy is ungovernable. Remember that. Daddy cannot be governed. If daddy smell like something ain't right, he gonna know. Tyler, why do you keep referencing yourself as daddy? Because I want to, man. Because that's what we're doing today. That's what we do on this channel. I'm daddy. All right. Anyways, on to the story. So, first story is about the recent multi-level marketing scheme that I got away from. And it was crazy because I got kicked out. I got like pushed out because they were just like, yeah, you're not following the rules. Well, not in a sense where I was like breaking the rules. I was just kind of like doing things on my own time. But that wasn't that wasn't how it works. But that's how I work, man. I've worked like that my entire life. And I mean, don't mind you. I follow the rules. But the rules have to be spoken to me for me to understand what the rules are. If I don't know what the rules are or if they're not spoken to me, then I'll work with what I know. That's just how you have to work. If I don't know what the parameters are, I'm going to do it, work how I know it, move how I know it. What was I going to say? So long story short, I got pushed out of this MLM scheme. And it was because I wasn't moving on their time. Now, mind you, this was supposed to be a part-time gig, not something that I was going to, um, stick around for. But I knew it was a MLM scheme from the start. I had already gone through an MLM scheme experience. And it was one of those things where I just felt like the information that I received from it was very valuable. And I probably wouldn't have gotten the information any other way because I had no desire to search for that information until I understood what this was. And I was like, ooh, this could be valuable information. And valuable it was. So upon joining this MLM scheme, I had to take some classes in order to get my life insurance license. And then there I would go to get my investments license and then so forth and so on, right? Which is something I was really looking forward on doing. But what I didn't do was I didn't move fast enough for them in that department. So last weekend I took the classes. I got this book, which is very valuable, has so much valuable information in it, which I love it. That's why I'm glad I at least, even if the experience didn't really get me anywhere, it got me information, and that's the most valuable thing. They taught me how insurance company works, the insurance company work, how they determine things, how the the life insurance companies, how they function, and taught me different accounts to have set up, all this stuff. It's really, really important information, which I feel like a lot of people need that information, especially in today's economy. But, anyways, I digress. I take the classes, right? Now, the original plan was to take a practice test, and when you take the practice test, then you don't have to pay for, if you score 70 or above on the practice test, you don't have to take the what's that? You don't have to pay to take the big test to get your license. And so I was going to do that and then take the big test and get the license, but I want to brush up on my material by taking the little tests, maybe on Thursday or, I was planning on Thursday evening, take like the little tests on Thursday evening when I got back home, because that was like, let me kind of brush up on the material. And then Friday, I take the practice test. And then after I take the practice test, and then next week I'll schedule on Monday, it was supposed to be Monday, to take the big test, wherever it was going to be. Well, the universe said you're not doing that. The universe sent one of the guys from the department to call me on Thursday when I was heading home from work to tell me that I should just get my refund back. And the refund was basically for the test. Like you don't have to pay full price, but whatever, I got my money back. Anyways, it's a whole thing with that whole shit. I was like, okay, cool, I got my money back. But he's like, you're not. It doesn't seem like you're participating in the activity, so I think you should just, get your refund so you don't have to do all this stuff. I was like, I was like, dude, I took the classes. I don't need the refund. I was just like, I'm gonna go take the test because I wanted the license. I actually wanted the license. And then I was just like, no, it's cool, man. Like, it's cool. But he's just like, I think you should do that. It's like, it doesn't seem like you're really participating in anything and you don't have that incentive or drive. It's like, maybe you should just take a break and come back whenever you're like, oh, Christ. I'm like, oh, this is crazy. And it's like, the thing you have to understand is that there's this, I've read about cults. I've studied cults. I've been a part of an MLM scheme for about like a month or so. So I know how they work. And you have to be in a level of full commitment to where this is your life. There's no, they tell you one thing, but then it becomes like, I don't want to say the name because I don't want to get in trouble. I don't want them coming after me. But you know what I'm talking about, the big S's, the ones that control Los Angeles. You have to fully devote yourself to them. Otherwise, you're like, if you gotta be there after work, you have to be there. You got like, it's a whole indoctrination process, which, again, I know that, but like, daddy's ungovernable. Like, I'll play along with your game for my gain, but once it no longer benefits me, then I'm not playing the game no more. Because if I do, then that'll make me crazy, and I'm too smart for that. Like, I knew it was a situation where it was an MLM scheme, but I was just like, this seems like it's valuable information, so let me take this as far as I can take it. But they knew, and so they were like, "Yeah, I know what you are," and they just basically kicked me out. They're like, "Get your. I think you should call and get your refund for your money, because I don't think this is right for you at the moment." I'm like, okay, but I was like, sir, like, I'm not asking for a refund. He's like, I think you should. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Cool. And so And then the other guy, the person that was like supposed to be my mentor, right? He sends me a text. I heard you're gonna get your refund. I was like, I never said I was gonna get my refund. That was just told that that was gonna happen. And basically, he didn't respond. I sent the text. I have the screenshot of the text. He's just like, yeah, here's a link to get your refund. Here's a thing to call, get your money back. You can call this number and whatever. I'm just like, oh, okay. So there's no discussion on this. Y'all just want me out. It's like, okay. So I exit, but I sent some complaints because I'm just like, man, y'all kicked me out. Y'all supposed to be trying to bring me in. So I don't think the company would like that. And like, y'all supposed to be trying to bring people in, but you just kicked me out when I was eager to learn. Eager to soak up information. But life got in the way. I got really busy with life. I had to go work and do things and handle some outside business stuff that had to immediately be handled. But people don't understand that in those types of situations because it's like a cult. So yeah, they kicked me out. I'm getting my money back. I got some valuable information, so it is what it is. But that was a weird and wild experience. Now the first one that I got a part of was because the job that I was working at, basically, like, they laid me off. And so after they immediately laid me off, I just got the job at this place. And it was for a nonprofit organization. So it was getting not donations. They were getting subscriptions to consistently donate to these nonprofit organizations for certain things. And so you go, basically, when you're walking to, you're going to your store and you see these people outside and they want to talk to you for a minute, like, hey, can I talk to you for a second? We're raising money. We're trying to raise money to save this particular thing. Do you believe in this, or do you? And they just bombard you with all these questions and stuff like that. Those are most likely people that are a part of MLM schemes, and they're trying to get their quota, so that way they can make some money. It's true. That's what it is. And so I did that. So it starts off where they teach you how to sell yourself and how to withstand being in the field. And they prepare you, they prepare your mind, they prepare your, whatever. And it's a lot. Like, it's one of those things where you have to really, like, if you have, like, social anxiety, you have to kill that. And the thing with me is that I am a relatively social person, but I am not going to go, I don't like approaching people with I don't want to say cruel intentions, because I don't think it was really cruel intentions, but basically, like, I don't, if I'm interacting with you and it's not for either, or if it's not for like an equal beneficial situation, then I just don't want to interact with you. You get what I'm saying? Like, if I'm going to sell someone stuff, it has to be something that I truly believe is going to help them and take care of them or whatever. I'm not going to just go and sell you something just because, like, it's going to make me money. I just don't, my moral compass doesn't work that way. I'm just not built that way. I don't push things that, like, I truly believe is going to harm somebody. Like, I'm not going to tell you to do stuff that's going to hurt you. It's not how I function. But at the same time, at that time, I was like, oh, this is for a good cause. It's helping people, and you talk yourself into that. And plus, you need money. So you're just like, and you have no job. So you have to figure something out. And so I remember the first week, they put me out. I made my first sale. They're like, okay, the lady she's basically the head of that department, of that particular, like, because there's different heads. It's literally a MLM scheme. It's like there's people that's head of the office, and then they have their, like, leaders, and those leaders have teams. Yes. And so I was part of the team of one of the leaders, and the head of the office took us all to dinner because they wanted us to go on a business trip, and so we did. We went on a business trip, and the business trip, basically at the end of the business trip, I was one of the top sellers of that week, right? Cool. And I was like, so, because I thought I was making a certain amount of money doing this, and so in my mind, I was cool being, okay, listen, if I got to stand out here, but I'm making this amount of money, listen, I'll take that. I'll take the rejection, whatever. I'll buck up, make my sales, do the best I can. It is what it is, and that's how my mind worked. But here's the thing: I was not given. It was not. How can I say this? The salary in which I was making was not clear. So I thought I was making a certain amount, and turns out I was not making that amount. And that is what made me just quit on the spot. I was like, wow. Well, not on the spot. I didn't just leave the person there, because when I found out about it, it was while I was working. I was just like, I thought, like, I'm making this much. It's cool. I'll be able to take care of this. They're like, he's like, you're not making that much. He's like, do you know how much you're making? Turns out I was making like $10 an hour. Because they market it as making about, was it $15 to $20 an hour? And I was like, okay, it's enough at the time, before gas prices and food prices went out the wazoo. This is a couple years ago. I was like, okay, cool, I can withstand this if I'm making this much, like an hour. You're not making that much an hour. I was like, well, how much am I making? They're like, you're making $10 an hour doing this. And then, you have to make a certain amount of sales at some point, or else, And I was just like, and I screamed. I literally screamed in the parking lot. And so, yeah, great times. And so next day I was just like, yeah, no, I gotta look for another job. And so literally what I did is that I didn't go into work that day. And then I just started going to places to kind of apply for jobs in person and doing like I was like, I gotta get a job, because like, this is not whatever. And so my thing is that like, I end up getting another job at this place in Houston. I don't want to, I got a story for that. We'll have time. But yeah, we'll get to that in just a moment. But get 3 stories tonight. I'm giving y'all 3 stories because, like, why not? But yeah, I was like, nah, I'm not making enough here. This is insane, and for what this is, no, I don't even believe in this anymore. Like, no, this is crazy. No, I don't care. And it just didn't feel right. And mind you, I don't even know where these people are anymore. I have not seen them in Houston. I have not seen them around. I'm like, I don't even know. And by the way, the whole thing was a crazy experience, because at some point I ended up in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And yes, they do have a Los Pollos Hermanos. I ended up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, selling subscriptions for a non-profit organization. Met some cool people. If there's people from Albuquerque who remember my face, hey guys, sorry about that. I needed money. I was broke and I had no job, and that was the only option at the time, because Indeed is crawling with fake jobs and MLM schemes now. That's pretty much it. Fake jobs and MLM schemes. Unless you like have a degree in a certain department, and I wasn't smart enough to do that. So, fake jobs and MLM schemes. And so yeah, it was crazy. Ended up in Albuquerque, New Mexico, selling stuff. Literally, after that trip, I was like one of the top salesmen of the whole thing. And they were like that, and like they're like, you keep doing this, man, you're gonna have to you're gonna start building your own team. I'm like, oh no. And I was realizing, and it was just something in my mind say, do you know what's going on right now? I'm just like, yeah, I know. I'm just like, and it's keeping me up at night. But anyways, one more story before the road, because I've been talking. I don't want to go past 20, like 30 minutes. It's past 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes. Um, yeah. So the next job I worked was at this breakfast place. I'm gonna say that. I'm not gonna. It's like this, like not like an IHOP or anything like that. It's just like a little, like one of those like little boutique breakfast places. All right. And you have to understand, I worked at a ghost kitchen beforehand. So I was used to, I had gotten my, certification. I've been around food, all that stuff. Now, upon working at this breakfast place, great food, by the way. They have great food. But their whole system is just a bunch of fuck shit. Their whole entire system is fuck shit. Like there's no organization, it's just disorganization. And unless you've been around long enough to be a part of that disorganization, you just don't get it. And it's just like for me, I was a part of a certain system and I had a certain system for a while, so I was used to that system. And so after that, I was like, okay, now I gotta get used to this system. And so it was basically a whole bunch of chaos. No one knew their tasks until they basically chose their task when they got there. I'm trying to figure out what my tasks were. Where I'm like, okay, what am I supposed to do? And mind you, okay, it takes about maybe a month, 2 months. And I'm being honest, 2 to 3 months. I'm not saying a month to 2 months. 2 to 3 months for someone to really get comfortable and know a job, because you're gonna make a lot of mistakes within that 2 to 3 month period, because you're still kind of getting used to the system. But with this system, it was so chaotic. Like the whole POS system, the point of sale. Yes, it was a piece of shit, but it was a point of sale. The whole POS system was a mess. And I'm just trying to figure out, okay, where's things at? Okay, when they order this, what they want for this, and again, if you haven't worked here for a minute, it's a system that you're not used to. And so I'm just overwhelmed. It's a very busy place. So they get really busy, especially on the weekends. So it's just like it's chaotic in the back on the weekends. You got people, it's just like jumbled all in one place. People taking orders online in the back, and it's just a mess. And so you're trying to learn how all this works. And so for people in New York, they're like, oh, get used to it, bucko. Yeah, I know. Yeah, but here's the thing. There was a certain pace I was used to. I wasn't used to that pace. I needed time to get used to it. If I had time to get used to it, probably would have gotten used to it and would have been flying like an eagle, right? Well, it pays to have supportive coworkers. Now, I had a couple coworkers that were chill, but there was two bitches, two motherfucking bitches in particular, who were just, and they were some motherfucking bitches. They made that job a living hell for no motherfucking reason. Yes, I'm learning, sir. Ladies, I'm learning. I don't know how this stuff works. Your whole system's a fucking mess. You got people running back and forth. When I'm supposed to announce a certain order, when I announce that order, y'all completely ignore me just to be spiteful. Basically, they did that to kick me out of the job. And I was just like, okay, yeah, I'm not staying here if we're going to be this hostile. And mind you, it was so bad that they got to a point where they couldn't pay all the workers. So what they would come and ask. They would ask people if they want to go home early because they couldn't afford to tip out all the workers. So they would ask one of the workers to go home early because they couldn't afford to tip out all the workers. I shit you not. I remember they went up to me. They were like, "Listen, we can't afford to pay everybody today, like a lot. So like, you mind like taking off for the day?" And they like, "We're gonna rotate everyone." we're gonna rotate people. Everybody's gonna have to take off at some point because we can't pay and tip y'all out, so we can't afford to do that. Yeah, it was fun. Messed up system, bullied out by these two bitches. Like, I wasn't. First of all, I'm not dying on a hill at a breakfast nook. Like, I don't. There's certain things that matter to me. That's not one of them. Like, I can go find something that's more suitable in my field. But yeah, they didn't want me a part of that place, and it was clear. Even the manager tells the guy that basically had a part in hiring me, yeah, if you don't get it together, mind you, I've only been there a month, and I still don't know the system because, like, I haven't really worked there enough to learn the system. They're like, yeah, if you don't, speed up your movement, you don't speed up everything, you're gonna get fired. I'm like, oh, don't worry. I'm thinking to myself, oh, don't worry, I'll figure something out, because, like, you're not gonna threaten me with a good time like that, because, like, at this freaking point, like, it's the juices ain't worth the squeeze. Y'all clearly don't want me here. Your system's a mess, and you have to ask people to leave because you can't pay them. Yeah, daddy gotta go. So I ended up finding another job, which that's a whole nother story entirely, but we don't have that type of time, diggity dogs. Anyways, if you enjoyed it, please like, share, subscribe, hype, I guess. I don't know if you want to hype this up. You can. It's just something to just sit and chill. I hope it was entertaining. I don't know. I hope it was funny to some degree. Looking back on it, it's kind of hilarious. But I don't regret the information that I got from the experiences. I got some valuable information, but these people were crazy, and I just can't. I could never do it. And then the third job at the breakfast nook, those people were freaking insane. Great food, by the way, amazing food. But, like, if you want it easier for new hires, create a system that's easy to learn. Don't create a system that's a chaotic mess. Otherwise, they're going to get overwhelmed and just leave. It isn't because they just couldn't handle it. It's because your system's a joke. And it is what it is, and it wasn't worth the bullshit. But anyways, have a good night, guys. Take care, and I love every single one of y'all.
Broke ass niggas.